Hello, happy Friday, everybody.
Happy Friday.
Let me make sure we can actually
Sure,
view this.
technology's
Hello, happy Friday.
Oh, that's weird.
There we go. All right.
All right, you can keep going.
I was just to say, here we are, another wonderful Friday. Today our team is a little bit smaller because we've got some folks out on vacation.
Which is a good thing. Rest is good.
Rest is great. Just a reminder to rest up and take time to rejuvenate with your family or spend time reorganizing your business, recharging. All of those things are great.
Absolutely. Introductions, again, I mean, if you're on the show at this point, you probably know, but I'm Jaleel Vester, Business Education Coordinator, and I'm excited about what we're going to talk about today because we're going to figure out what we're going to talk about.
Yes, we're just going to be led by God today because we are a team of two today.
Team of two.
Truly, we're here to answer any questions. So if you're watching live right now, we'd love if you put any questions in the chat. And we were just thinking today could be a good way to do some Q&A and maybe just ask each other questions regarding business and
Absolutely.
let the conversation go and flow. We also want to talk a little bit about our upcoming program starting in October,
Yes.
which is Thrive. It's a business accelerator. We'll talk a little bit more about that. And I guess introduction for myself, I'm Michelle Rea. I am the Economic Development Associate, and I really just help with, Andre likes to say I'm like the B to, what are the last, the
B to Z?
B to Z.
That sounds
So
right.
I'm everywhere in between, besides the beginning and the end. You know, I do everything in the in between. So that really
you know
is.
why. Anyways.
Whatever, I do. That's what I do.
She does do it all. So what we'll start off today with, though, because we actually had a conversation before pressing record, and we were talking about just business and the fear that really gets associated when you're just trying to start. And so I just thought really that was really good. So we can probably continue riffing off of that. So what I'm gonna read first, and I'm gonna give you guys a sneak peek into the principles course that will be coming later this year. It'll be in October, right before our Thrive Accelerator. So definitely stay tuned for that. The principles course is gonna be, this is gonna be the Thrive principles. All right. So if you're in business, you've generated a profit of $1,000 or more, and you're trying to find a way to scale your business up so that you can make more money in less time with less effort, then this course is going to be the one for you. All right. And so
and it's free.
it's free.
It costs your time, right? But if you're gaining all of this knowledge, you're exchanging your time for knowledge. But we're not going to charge you money to be part of this program.
That's right. We just give you the opportunity to invest in yourself, and it will definitely be well worth the investment. So I just want to open this up because we are talking about the fears that kind of limit people from starting or even scaling their businesses, because this really is an internal game. So I'm going to read 1 John chapter 4 verse 18. There is no fear in love, but perfect love casts out fear, for fear has to do with punishment, and whoever fears has not been perfected in love. Interesting. And so, whoever fears has not been perfected in love. So, I mean, reading that backwards, it's perhaps, if we're fearing starting or we're fearing, making a big investment to grow, have we not been perfected in love of ourselves? Have we not been perfected in love of what we're doing? Those are kind of the questions that I start to, wonder about when it comes to what are the things that limits us. I believe this business journey really, it's parallel to a faith journey, I would say, and it's like there are so many things that, I would even say in my own journey that I have stopped myself from doing purely just because I didn't feel like I was worthy. I shouldn't, write. I shouldn't post this video because who's gonna listen to me? Is my word really worth it? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, have I done enough? Am I young? Am I too young? Or maybe you could be thinking, am I too old? Has my season passed? No one's gonna think that what I have to offer is good enough, so I shouldn't just start anyways because it's safer to not even put myself out there.
Right.
You know, those are just some things that I've dealt with, and I remember we did an interview actually. Oh my gosh, I should remember her name. She has a very successful salon. She runs the Aisha. Yes, Aisha. We were interviewing Aisha, and before she started her product line, I was asking her, "What took you so long? I mean, this was in your heart for like 7 years, something like that.
Yeah.
Like, you've been thinking about it, you had designs for it." She wanted to pull the trigger for like 7 years.
Yeah.
And I was like, why didn't you pull the trigger? I mean, you knew what you wanted to do, and it was fear. It was fear. And I think what ended up happening was that for her story, COVID happened, so she couldn't continue making the money she was making in the regular way by doing people's hair. As a bunch of people, you know, in the services industry really suffered during COVID. And so she had to innovate, and then there was just a point where like the pain superseded the fear, and she had to pivot. And, you know, I think that's happened a lot in our own lives, where maybe you've taken a leap of faith purely because you had to, purely because like you're on the edge of a cliff and you've got a barking dog behind you, so now you have to jump. But, you know, we don't always want to have to wait until you're in the situation of fight or flight. Like,
Right.
so, you know, what are the things that we can do? Maybe that's a question we can open up to. Like, what are some of the things that we can do to overcome the internal fears that we have so that we can move forward?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, if you were a coach and you were coaching one of them right now, like, what is something that would kind of come to your mind as something that someone can do?
Ooh. You know, I'm trying to think back to what are some of the things that I heard, at least from our coaches and our speakers from our last Thrive cohort. And I feel like a constant theme was always like how you were saying with the verse, like, do you love like what you do? Do you love who you are and like what you are delivering to people? Like, someone I think of that is coming to mind, and I can't remember his name, but he came and spoke to us about his seasonings and how his business just took off of seasonings. And it was and even with Dio, right?
Chef Dio.
Yeah, who hosted our Thrive celebration back in May.
Yep.
I mean, she didn't know what to give to her
Wedding
guest,
party.
her wedding guest.
Yeah.
And well, then her and her husband created this spice, just
Black
this
love.
this spice, and it was just like, this is what we're gonna give to people, and people ran out of it after their wedding, and they were asking for more. Just like, oh, okay, like I can make this into a product and sell it.
Yeah.
But then I'm thinking about this guy too. I think that's how his story started too. He was just thinking like, what am I good at? Like, what am I really good at? What am I known for? And he was like, man, everybody knows me for my spices. So he just created a line of spices and has made an incredible wealth off of spices. But
Wow.
I think the story goes back to thinking about, and Andre always tells me this too, it's like, what are you just naturally good at? What are you good at?
Yeah.
What do people come to you for, right? And so for this guy, it was his spices. And something that seemed so simple as spices took off. He eventually was selling at, I forget what he was really doing, but he was selling at like the Seahawks games. So his spices were being featured at one of the like food places that offers food in the stadium. And so now everybody was tasting his spices and didn't even know. They were just buying some food for the game, but you know, he got that deal, and then things just kept growing off of something so simple that people loved him for. And so I don't know, I just think that sometimes It really is
Mm.
looking within and what do people really love you for, and taking off with that.
What's really cool about that, especially like both of their stories with Chef Dios and then the seasonings guy, literally, they were doing something that they loved, and then it evolved into like we really obsess. I would say in our society, we obsess about other people's highlight reels, and we forget completely about the behind the scenes.
Yeah.
Because the social media, like it's just a weird dynamic. It's I would say in a lot of ways it's unnatural that as human beings, 100 years ago, we didn't have this kind of this kind of pressure or anxiety that we give ourselves based on the comparison to millions of other people. But in both of their stories, it literally started with something that they loved, a skill that they had, and they did it. They took action, and then as they kept going, more opportunity presented itself.
Yeah.
And it's like, we want to be at step 100. We want to be at step Z without even starting in step A. You know what I'm saying?
That's right.
So I really do believe like a part of breaking down that fear and processing and turning that fear into action is really like, let's regroup and refocus on where we're at. Let's be present. You know what I'm saying? What we got going on here?
Oh, sorry.
Oh, somebody in the chat?
Yes, Pallavi, hello. We see you in the chat
Yo!
talking about someone who, started something off of something that they loved. I mean, Pallavi, you have been a great example. We are so good.
Yes, let's go. Detox. I got those plates, by the way. So
But
shout out.
a great example of just thinking up something that, I think the line that I remember from your pitch at the Sharks at the Beach, which everyone can watch the playback if you want to see
Check it out.
Detox pitch and Pallavi. She said, I'm a mompreneur on a mission to save the world and make it a better place for my kids,
Yeah,
and
fire.
truly, if you guys try
Shout
Pallavi's products, I mean holding this beautiful
they're
palm
dope.
leaf
Yes.
plate that is so durable
Yes.
and it's so great.
Yes.
I mean, it was just like it drives the point home.
100%.
And doing it with so much love, with all the products coming from India, where
Yeah.
family lineage is
It has a
from.
story.
There's just this beautiful story
Yeah.
that really, it just transpires through.
Yeah.
So Pallavi, congrats on all that you are doing and all of your success, and we're so grateful that you were part of our program. And just shout out to Pallavi because
Hey.
Pallavi would travel from Oregon, not from
Oregon.
Portland. Okay,
She
get
coming
on
to class
the train.
off the train.
Okay, 2 young girls and a husband and everything would
Come
just travel up here because that's how you know how motivated and driven. Yeah.
And that literally that goes right back into taking action. Like here's a truth. So something as simple as working out. Working out, we all know it's important. Eating healthy, we all know it's important, right? Usually you don't feel like working out. You just know you need to work out. And it's like you have to put your actions first and then your feeling second, but then usually after you take action, then the feeling tends to come. That's what I've found. Like I've literally, if I'm feeling down, I will like go into the mirror, and this is like weird, but I will do this. I'll go look in the mirror and I'll just,
Hot tip from Jalil.
all right, you're doing great. And I'll just talk to myself. And literally like the feeling will follow the action. And so it's, and the same thing. Sometimes I'm sore, but I know, hey, if I get in the gym today, I'm going to feel like, I just start thinking about the feelings that I'm going to feel. And then so just I get up, I do it. I don't feel like doing it, but once I'm in the zone and I'm working out, then like I feel great. And so usually I find that the feelings follow the actions. And the issue is that if we decide to follow our feelings, which are ultimately like a bunch of chemicals that are just raging, and that can be up today or down tomorrow or all of the above in between. If you're being led by your feelings, that's number one. Like you're going to fail if you're led by your feelings. That's why we, talk about discipline and those kind of things. But I believe if you're led by your feelings, then fear, it's a powerful emotion. And that will literally paralyze you. You know what I'm saying? But love is energizing. Love is, like, even if you look at leaders, leaders that are loved, their followers would do anything for them. Leaders that are feared, the moment that there's an opportunity to run or stab them in the back, boom, like, you're done. You know what I'm saying? So fear is, it's like there's these two emotions that are warring, and if we truly love what we're doing, or maybe we love the result that what we're doing gives, or maybe we love the future that this business can provide for us, we're going to take action, and you're going to be able to move through the fear. It's like courage isn't the absence of fear, it's taking action in spite of the fear.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And so it's just something
That's
I was thinking about. I was thinking about. And that is a quote, literally. I don't know where I read it or something. But so
for those of you watching right now, if you guys could just put in the chat, if you do have a business yourself, what was it that got you to start your business? Because there has to be something that drives you there, right? That is just like, this is what I'm going to do, and I'm going to stick to it. Because starting a business is not easy. And everyone who is a business owner, entrepreneur knows that.
Absolutely.
At least the first one's not. Maybe if you're a serial entrepreneur and now you're in like your 5th, 6th business, it gets easier probably. But that first one is this leap.
Yes.
And so what is it that drives you to say, I'm gonna do this?
Yeah. Actually, I'd really like to know that, because that's gonna be, I would like to know what drives you. And then what are you afraid of? Just, enter that in there. That would be super good.
These are actual topics that we talk about in Thrive, in our program that's starting in October, which you can check on our website. We'll be linking the application there soon and opening that up within the next week for people to start applying to it. But we have business coaches, and we have people who are very established in their businesses that come on in and speak to you monthly. And I remember us talking about that, and we always have 30 minutes that we just check in, like, hey, how are you doing? What's going on? What are some blockers you're facing? Or what are some things you're celebrating in your business? And we talked about what are fears that you've had, and sometimes just even talking about them and getting them out into the open, and having that community where maybe you say it out loud, but maybe somebody else in the room is feeling that very same fear, but just didn't want to say it. So now that's the other great thing about our Thrive program. You're part of a community of other business owners who you can all lean on, and we eventually, it's over Zoom for the 6 months, but then on that last month we all meet in person, have this wonderful celebration, eat some good food, and hang out and really connect. But it's a lot of fun. It's a great.
It's valuable just to be walking with someone else through the journey. Like we're not alone, and so tapping into these accelerator courses that we offer, you're really just tapping into community, so that you can, if you want to go fast, go alone. You want to go far, go together. And so that's what we do, literally side by side. And oftentimes, like Michelle was saying, your fear that you feel, you're probably not the only one to feel it. I've definitely found that to be true in different just communities I've tapped into. Like, once one person starts talking, usually like 3-4 just popcorn, like, hey, me too. And then we like counsel each other, so it's kind of cool.
Okay, we got an answer here.
Undying love for the people, the planet, and parties, and a soft spot for hosting without paper and plastics, without the eco guilt. Yes, let's go.
Oh yeah. Come on. Yeah, that's good. Thank you, Pallavi. So she's saying here that detox fears, the trees
gate crashing our production because we're not using them. A palm leaf shortage. Can you imagine the chaos? Being mistaken for regular plastic plates at hipster picnic. Did I get all of that? Yeah, I think I did.
so.
Yeah, so the drive there is for our environment.
Yeah.
You know, she's got a deep love for the environment. She doesn't want to see plastics and all these other things destroying it. And so she chose to do something about it. She chose to build a business. She chose to work on herself, her skill, her craft, get on a train weekly so that she can be able to communicate her passion in 3 minutes or less to other people. Like, what drives you? You know what I'm saying? Maybe actually that is kind of like, I'm just kind of thinking like out loud now, but I don't know, really just taking that time to like introspect and figure out like what is it that drives you? You know what I'm saying? Like why do I want to do this business? You know, what is worth sacrificing for? You know.
And here's what I'll say. I feel like it always is kind of in you. It's just something that you want, that you have to, you know, and we talk about this too in all these wonderful things that are coming back to my mind now that I'm thinking about it. But we talk about when you start a business or think about even starting a business, you hold it so close to your heart because it's your baby, some people call it, and you're pouring so much love and time into it. And it can be hard to release that and like let it grow because it's your baby. I mean, I'm sure plenty of parents who actually have children and real babies can attest to this. But you know, when you let it go and give it some space to grow, it really, if you're in it for the right reasons, it's really will flourish and it'll take off. And I don't know, I just think that for anyone watching who has any doubts or any fear, like maybe it is just a little control thing that you have. You don't want to let it be released and grow in the world. Maybe just spend some time reflecting on that. And there's hundreds and thousands of examples of people who let things just go a little and they really flourished and took off. And you know, and if you need some help with that and some counsel, and you have a great idea, you just are like, but my baby, I don't want to let it go. You know, we have plenty of people who came to our Sharks at the Beach program and were the same way. They came in holding their products that they were working on or their business really close to their heart. But once they got closer to their mentors and their business coaches and, you know, us here at Urban Impact and the Econ Dev team, and they started trusting us and realizing, hey, these people we got your back. You know, they have our back. You know, they're interested in really seeing me flourish and grow. Man, the transformation that can be done. So really, if it's something that's, you know, close to your heart, just giving it a little bit of space to really grow and releasing it and watching it grow, there's so much beauty in that too. So if you're afraid to get started, or you're in that place where you don't really want to let it go and make it, you know, man, there's so much beauty in where you're headed.
Hey, that's what we're here for. So sign up for the classes because we're gonna go into this kind of stuff in a deeper level. And life truly does begin at the end of your comfort zone.
Yes.
It really does. And but it takes time to get there, right? And another thing is that in business, you know, the business will never grow past the capacity of the leader. You're the leader, you're the visionary. And so if there's something that's prohibiting you from getting to that next level, it's somewhere, or really it's somewhere in here, right? Because we were talking about potential, right? The graveyard, the richest place on earth, because it's full of potential. You have potential, all right? I believe it's our God-given duty to live up to all of the potential that God put in us. When I die, I want to look at Jaleel and say, hey, you know, the Jaleel Jaleel in 70, 80 years, I want him to say, hey, you found me. You did it. Good job. I don't want him to say, hey, this is what you could have did, bro. You know what I'm saying? And so I hope that for you guys as well. And perhaps the desire, the love of who you're serving or where you want to be or who you're doing it for, maybe that needs to be greater than whatever fear that's holding you back. You know? So sign up for Principles.
Yes.
All right, sign up for Thrive.
We'll
I think-
officially drop the link next week,
Yes.
in our live next week, but we're really looking forward to our next cohort of Thrive. And that'll be starting in October once again. So we'll see y'all. All those who meet the criteria, we're excited to look at your applications and accept you with open arms and, you know, help you continue to flourish your babies.
Yes, come flourish your babies.
Have a great weekend. And we'll see you here again next Friday.
All right, God
Hopefully
bless.
with a bigger team next Friday.
Yes, hopefully. And as our director always says, shalom.
See ya.